G'day folks, Workabout was with you. At Workabout Australia, we've been helping Aussies live the dream for over 26 years. And today we catch up with long-time club member Lyn, who with her husband Kim had us by their sides for over 10 years to help them plan their travels and reassure them that they could get out there and have the greatest experiences of their lives, all while leaving their savings and super safe for later in life. We also chat with long-time employer member Julia from the Good Nights Relief Motel Managers.
Okay, well, I guess with our travels, we planned for a long, long time. It was something we were always going to do, but not sort of being financially able to pay for, for what the ambitions that we had. We realised that we wanted to leave something in the nest for when we got older, when we returned. And so it just seemed the way to go for us to look for work and still be able to get out there and move around Australia and see things.
Yeah, sure.
So we started that in, I guess planning started way, way back. We told the kids a long time ago that as soon as they were of age, they were kicked out and we were on our way. About 2011, we hit the road, and we were very confident always that it would work for us, and Workabout Australia helped us along the way.
How important was it to have Workabout Australia on the journey with you?
I guess for us, it was like a safety net. It was gave us the reassurance to do what we wanted to do. We had some contacts, mostly within our own state, but Australia's a big place. Workabout Australia certainly expanded those opportunities.
We can't stress enough the importance of Workabout Australia to help with your planning. Lyn explains in some more detail.
And over the years, how important has the weekly email bulletin been?
Very. From a very early stage, I used to keep our own filing system. So, I'd think, that sounds like a good place, a good job. So I'd sort of, had a little spreadsheet and kept our own little, resource list based, that I got from the bulletins. And then we'd use that to think about possibilities where we could head. I'd even contact some employers well ahead. It might have been last year, the job was advertised, what's happening this year. And that worked for us sometimes. Yeah.
One of the important planning opportunities that we point out is using those past bulletins. As you would be aware, club members have access to the last 12 months worth of bulletins in the members area for the website. And it's something that we push quite a lot, is to make sure you get in there and do exactly that. If you're planning on hitting the road, go back and have a look at the bulletins from 12 months ago and see the sort of things that you're interested in, and possibly even make contact with an employer ahead of time and see if they've got anything going on this year.
Yeah, well, it certainly worked for us. Yeah, and it just gave us some excitement to think about the areas that we could, head the van in towards.
And when you were on the road, how flexible did you find the jobs and the working arrangements with the various employers? Did they suit what you were trying to do in your travels?
It's a two-way street, I think. Obviously, there was times that we had to alter our expectations a little bit. But having said that, I don't think there's any job that we took on that we ever had any regrets about.
Sure.
Our travel goals was to work 6 months of the year, travel, be free to do wherever, whatever we wanted for the remaining 6 months. And look, that worked out. I could say exactly almost. If I sat down now, that's how it worked out for us.
So how do our employer members like the diversity of our club members? Here's what long-time employer Julia from the Good Nights Relief Managers shared with us.
And then, Julia, tell us about your experience and what it's been like working with our club members. How have you found our club members as employees?
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Why and what I like about them is I can relate to them. While you have such a varied lot of readers, I know my nephew reads your information, but for the people that are attracted to what I need, they're of my generation, and maybe a little bit older, maybe a little bit younger, So, and so what they do is they've all got life skills. They're right and ready to try a new adventure. And this is what I'm offering them, is a new adventure, to get out and go and see Australia, travel around, but make a buck as you go. you know, we can get you trained up, learn how to do motel management, go to a job with confidence, and confidence from me too, because I'm very precious about my business. And they go and do the job, they get paid for it, off they go. So it works very well.
At the end of the day, the point of the whole exercise is to get out there, have fun, experience new things and make memories of a lifetime. Here's what Julia and Lyn had to say about some of the highlights for them.
Now, you mentioned before that you originally started with Workabout Australia as a club member. So I guess one of the things we always like to stress is it's not just about going and getting a job. It's about getting out there and having fun and seeing Australia.
Absolutely. Oh, totally and utterly. Totally and utterly. We actually drove, should I tell you all this? We've driven across Australia twice, and we've done up to Broome, and we've worked in the Kimberley for a while, driven back, been through the Territory. So we've been blessed to have seen an awful lot of Australia. And thanks very much to you, because we've followed the trails and we've got on your website, read what other people have said about campsite, read what other people have said about bits and pieces. So it's been a very enjoyable process.
You know, we were sticklers for commitment. So if we made a commitment to something, we stuck with it, and we made the most of it by thinking, well, what else can we do while we're here? We'd explore the area, you know.
Yes.
We explored the heck out of areas once we stayed there, and even if the job wasn't totally up to expectations, it was a little longer than what we wanted it to be or whatever, we just made it work, you know.
Sure. And I guess the important question is, did you have fun?
Oh, I'm just so glad we did what we did, you know. Fun. I still go back occasionally into the original area that we, you know, took off from when we first started our travels, and I see the same people tending to the same gardens, doing the same things, and I just think, wow, you know, what we've done over the last 10 years, you know, I just think, I would not change a thing. You know.
Are there any real highlights, either work-wise or just travel-wise, any real highlights that stand out in your experiences?
I guess getting to know the locals was always our big thing. We wanted to sort of you know, we just didn't want to be tourists. We wanted to enjoy local communities. And quite a lot of times we got involved with local communities. Him being ex-Defence Force, he got invited to do a speech at an Anzac Day dawn service up in the Gulf of Carpentaria. Wow. And I have some, you know, I still think back on what a beautiful scene that was. Up in Cooktown, we got involved with a lot of like the clean up, Cooktown, stay another day groups. We got involved with cane burns in North Queensland. Down on the Murray, we got invited to share on authentic Italian meals with farming families on the farm, you know, just things like that.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, highlights. I mean, that's talking about joining with the community, but I mean, apart from that, just the places that we saw and travelled. We loved natural environments, so we spent a weekend once on a Whitsunday Island on our own.
Very nice.
You know, it's endless. Catherine Gorge, I remember we spent a night under the stars in the middle of July, which wasn't cold, of course, up in Northern Territory, and watch, you know, sat in on a local movie, you know, with local themes, movie night.
Well, it's certainly been great catching up with you, Lyn. We really appreciate your input and having a chat with us today. And we hope you continue to enjoy your travels, and we look forward to having you as a Workabout Australia Club member for a lot more years yet.
I never closed the door. Although things have changed in my life a little bit, I still check the Weekly Bulletin. And I still I get a bit fired when I, you know, see some of the opportunities out there.
Excellent.
Thanks
well, thank you very
guys.
much, Lyn. Lovely to see you. And we'll catch up with you again soon.
All righty. Okay. My pleasure.
There you have it, from two of the thousands of Aussies that have been part of the Workabout Australia journey since 1996. To start planning your dream life on the road, head to the Workabout Australia website and join today. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you're an employer with a seasonal or short-term need for staff, keep your eye out for our next video for the full chat with Julia from the Goodnights. Until then, keep building that dream life on the road.
I'm just so glad we did what we did. So many great experiences.